Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land, all you young learners out there. Hopefully, my daughter LB is watching too. Cheesy Math, Episode 2. Cheesy Math. Yep, look, that's cheese, and we're doing math, so it's Cheesy Math. All right. Hey, have you ever wondered something like this? What is 2.5 and 2.5? Like, how do I add things when some of them are in pieces? Half is a piece of something, right? How do I add 2.5 and 2.5? Well, I'm going to dedicate this episode to not only LB, but Dan, Faye, and Becky. You know who you are. Okay, well, here's how we could do 2.5 plus 2.5. First thing we need is some cheese. As you can tell, I've already cut the cheese here. That's a little joke. Okay, first we need to understand what 2.5 is. Let's pretend the cheese has not been cut. There's 3 pieces of cheese, right? Well, if I take, I don't know, a pizza cutter and cut the cheese, now I have 2 pieces of cheese, and this third piece of cheese, I cut it in half. Remember, half is 2 equal pieces of something. Equal pieces. Now, if I take one of those away from here, this is 2.5, right? I have 2.5 pieces of cheese. Now, if I scoot these all over here onto one side, like that, there's 2.5. And if I put 2.5 over here, that's 2.5 also, right? So if I put them all together, what do I have? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? There's the 2 plus 2 is 4, and each side has a half, but if I put those halves together, that makes 5. So 2.5 and 2.5, when I put the halves back together, that makes 1. 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 plus 1 is 5. 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5. Ta-da! Now, hey, there's lots of ways to learn this. I was just using cheese because it's fun to play with cheese. Okay? But here's how you could draw a picture of it if you don't have any cheese laying around, or if your mom and dad don't think it's such a great idea to play with cheese and a pizza cutter, because it is dangerous and not appropriate for young kids. Here's what you could do. You could draw cheese. There's 2. There's 2. And if we cut that in half, there's 1, 2.5. And there's 1, 2.5. You can see that 2.5 and 2.5 is 5. Okay? Now that's a way to do it with cheese, and that's a way to do it with pictures. Here's another way to do it with just numbers. You might like this. Numbers can be messy sometimes, but this is not messy. 2.5 plus 2.5. Okay? The fun thing about adding which is when you say plus, or if you say and, that also means we're adding. That's what this sign is. We can break things apart. This is the same thing as saying 2 plus 2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2, right? Because when you say 2 and a half, there's that word and that means plus. So there's 2 plus 1/2. See? So even though this looks like one big number, it's really two numbers being added together when you say the word and. And if I'm going to add 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1, which is 6, if I mix those things up and I go 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2, it still makes the same thing, right? I can mix them up. So if I go here to my problem, 2.5 and 2.5, all I have to do is I can go 2 plus 2, which everybody knows that. You can use your fingers, 4. And half plus half, well, don't use your fingers for that. But we could use our cheese, right? There's a half and there's a half. When I put them together, it makes 1. And now, the problem is really, what is 4 plus 1? And that's easy. Use your fingers. 4 and 1 is 5. There we go. There's a few different ways to learn how to add 2.5 plus 2.5. And that's going to do it for Cheesy Math, Episode 2. And say goodbye to all the cheese that I've cut. Bye, cheese. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat it. It's old and bad, but it was still useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.